After much thought, I thought it was important that I do a second review. This is because of the hard time that I had with Furanylfentanyl. So it just so happens that, and I'm quite excited about it. It just so happens that I accidentally ran across some tabs. Um, I made a lot of these blotters. Um, so as you can see, it has the Namaste symbol on them. Now, this really crept up on me. I felt that I didn't do that much. And when I first started experiencing my first problems with it was when I noticed that I was hallucinating and high and wasn't coming down. Now, this was caused from the afterglow. This was shortly after, or shortly before, excuse me, I went to the hospital on January 5th. Now, as far as the really bad things that happened, I'd like to talk about those. One experience that I had is shortly after I had nodded off from smoking some, I grabbed this pole right behind me and I regained consciousness for a brief moment, and I was swinging around the pole. I fell off my chair and I tipped my desk and spilled water all over my laptop, and it was very violent. And when I hit the floor, so I had like some momentum while I was swinging around this. And a couple hours later, I regained consciousness when one of my friends found me on the floor, and I wasn't in very good shape. Now, as far as the unpleasantness, withdrawal, well, let me step back here. I noticed that the high, I quit doing it. It scared me, so I quit doing it. And the afterglow high, during the afterglow high, I was hallucinating. I couldn't come down for 3 days. And the hallucinations mainly had to do with death. It was a very scary experience. When I got back from the hospital, and I couldn't sleep. So like 6 days without sleep. I just could not sleep, no matter what I did. I mean, I chowed some sleeping pills and just couldn't sleep. Some of the things that were very unpleasant was any type of cold. And what I did is I gravitated towards the center of the house. And I mainly stayed in the bathroom for about 4 days. Drove everybody crazy. There's just certain things I couldn't do because they were so unpleasant, and it felt like my nerves were on fire. I vomited numerous times. Thought for sure I was going to die. I also had some issues with my breathing, and I just wanted to warn people about this stuff. Now, if you take it in the oral dose, like so, these tabs are approximately 1 milligram each. It's definitely a little safer when you take it that way. The intoxication more or less mimics being drunk. It's similar to being drunk, but you have the euphoria. Now, the afterglow also enhances any other drug. By enhancement, what I mean is that it will make it stronger. Now, one of the things that did help, this is the reason, that's another reason why I wanted to do this review, is that if you do end up in trouble, you can get out of it. I recommend that you start working on replenishing your electrolytes. Now, how you know that you have fentanyl poisoning, the first sign is that you can't poo. Now, at one point I couldn't poo, and at the other point I couldn't control it. It was, I couldn't even wear underwear. I had to, like, it was just coming right out of me. It was very sad and pathetic. So, smoking it is definitely a bad thing. My roommate, my friend, he saved my ass, and he came over and he said, "Here, take this, drink it, fucker." And it was a big bottle of Powerade. And after I drank that, I started to feel better immediately, and reality started to focus back in. So, if you do end up in that situation, replenishing your electrolytes is essential. You can use Powerade, Gatorade, whatever. Your potassium will be all over the place, and you want to replenish that. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you eat, because you will lose a massive amount of weight. I lost so much weight it wasn't even funny, and I couldn't bring myself to eat. Now, once you get through it, it's not too bad. Then once it's over, you look back at it and laugh and go, "Geez, that was really dumb." Now, it doesn't take too many times before you're physically addicted. And what I mean by taking too many times is, I'm guessing, if you do it maybe 4 to 6 times in a row, 4 to 6 sessions, and you will develop a physical dependence. Now, this is on smoking. The other people who had taken large amounts of this stuff orally via the tabs, they didn't seem to have a problem, but they were more experienced opiate users than myself. So, being that I'm an amateur opiate user, and Jordan made some comments on Twitter about, stay away from this stuff if you're an amateur. And he is absolutely right. Now, Furanylfentanyl is not very funny. And the other thing that I noticed that was really strange about it is, during my being dope sick, or the fentanyl poisoning, and I highly recommend that if you read about this on the Center of Disease Control, so that you can know what I'm talking about. The first signs, once again, is that the afterglow, during the afterglow, you'll be hallucinating, and you won't come down for days. Now, people who are opiate addicts that do heroin, for example, will use this as a temporary solution, or is also used as a final solution for people who get hard-headed to opiates, where they have to do a lot of opiates to get high. Part of the reason why I was looking at this one and why I was trying it is I recently had gone through passing stones, kidney stones, and kidney stones are one of the most painful things you can ever experience, and they put me on really heavy opiates for that. What they put me on is Dilaudid, and so I was looking for an alternative to Dilaudid. Now, the problem with getting Dilaudid is that the doctors are only going to give you a very short supply of it. Some doctors won't let you walk out of the hospital with it. I only got a 3-day supply, and what I did is I'd break it up to make it last, because I said, well, what happens when I run out? And they said, oh, well, come back to the emergency room. And it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. Don't give me enough painkillers so that I can pass all my stones. Thank you, guys. That's very kind of you. Now I see why they did that. They did that because of the addiction potential. Now, what gave me stones, by the way, and this is just on a side note, is this stuff, pop. That was one of the main contributors to my stones. I had quite a few of them. Each was about the size of a grain of rice. And they're spiked balls of hell coming out of your penis. Not fun. The other thing, the Dilaudid was amazing and lasts a lot longer than fentanyl does. But I must admit, and I think I passed during my period while I was doing fentanyl, I think I passed 2 stones. When I went into the emergency room on January 5th and they did another CT scan, I was very pleased to find out that all of my kidney stones were gone. So since then, I have reduced my pop consumption so that I'm only drinking maybe 1 or 2 cans a week. They say don't drink it at all, but pop is one of the things I am horribly addicted to, right next to cigarettes, which I'm slowly but surely reducing my consumption there because recently I was diagnosed with lung cancer in the very, very early stages, so I have to quit. Anyway, Furanylfentanyl will cause a lot of problems, and I wouldn't it's not fair to call it physical dependence and being dope sick. It is fair to call it a form of poisoning, and it's because of the buildup in your system. So I wanted to really, really, really emphasize that if you are an experimenter and you're trying this, only do it for a very, very short time. And also, if you're new to opiates, stay the fuck away from it. Go with something like codeine. As far as if you have cancer and you have extreme pain, then something like this is a good thing. So down the line, once I experience stones again, I might actually consider fentanyl for the first breakthrough, and then depending on what the doctor gives me for future pain, because that pain is really bad. And shy of morphine, you need something really strong for that pain. It's like somebody stabbing you in the side. And I've been stabbed in the back, and it's very close to being stabbed. Anyway, this is my second review, and I wanted to emphasize a warning. If you're an amateur, stay away. Very, very bad. You will end up poisoned or dope sick within a very short period of time, especially if you smoke it. Smoking it will produce the largest amount of euphoria. However, you'll become physically dependent on it rather quickly. If you're using it for breakthrough pain, for instance, in my case, like with kidney stones, then it's a good thing. But you only want to use it maybe once or twice for pain management, and then take the other medications that you are given, whether it be, whatever. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that by the time I made it to the hospital, my tolerance for any opiates was off the charts. So while I was in the hospital, they gave me 4 times the normal dose of tramadol that they usually give people, and it did absolutely nothing. I didn't feel a thing. I was still in, well, I shouldn't say that. It did ease the pain a slight bit, but otherwise I felt pretty much the same as when I came in. I did not tell the doctor about the fentanyl, because if I told the doctor about fentanyl, he would have kicked me right out the door, and he said, "Have fun, Sammy." So it did help a little bit, and the benefit from going to the hospital is I found out other things that are wrong with me, which I'll be dealing with here very soon. Anyway, second review: stay away. Stay away from all of them. There's many different ones, including one of the most dangerous ones, which you should stay away from, which is carfentanil. Carfentanil is 100 times stronger than regular fentanyl. This particular form of fentanyl is mainly used as a chemical weapon. It's used in knockout gas, and they also use it in these bullets where they're felt that's soaked in DMSO and fentanyl or carfentanil, and when it hits the victim, it will drop them super fast. As far as it being lethal, it was originally designed not to be lethal, but they found that approximately, probably about 70% of the people that were infected by it, they'd instantly die. Now, a great example of carfentanil and what it does is some years ago, the Chechens took a bunch of hostages in a Russian theater. The Russians pumped in knockout gas. Now, what knockout gas is an aerosol form of carfentanil, and 60% of the people in the theater died immediately. So it's very, very dangerous, carfentanil. Another 2 variations of, and the other thing I wanted to correct too from my prior video is I said that Furanylfentanyl is 30 times weaker than fentanyl. It is actually 5 times weaker. It's 1/5 the strength of regular fentanyl. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Fear of fentanyl, very dangerous. Stay away. Thanks, and have a great day.